So as I was saying before, to folks before I started recording, um, your resume's job is to get you in the door. Your resume needs to work for you. Once you get in the door, it's your job to go in there and wow them. So I want to talk to you all a little bit about some things that you can do to make your resume work for you. Some things that you make it kind of shiny and make it represent you in the best way possible. Then we're going to go in and I will show you exactly how to build a resume on the Louisiana Works website, also known as the HiRE website. If you hear me talk about the HiRE website, it's the Louisiana Works website. Okay? So let's take a look at building a resume. So employers are going to spend about 10 seconds. You might want to remember that for the quiz, just throwing that out there. Employers spend about 10 seconds deciding whether to read a resume from top to bottom. You need to make sure the information at the top grabs their attention. Okay? You've got about 10 seconds to grab someone. Let's figure out 10 seconds real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 seconds isn't that long. When an employer pulls out that resume, countdown is on. Are you going to grab their attention? So I look at a resume like a fishing pole. Okay, I don't know if anybody here has gone fishing. My dad and I used to go fishing a lot. One thing you need to catch fish, you need a fishing pole. This resume is going to be the fishing pole that you use to throw your bait out into the water. And what is your bait? Your bait is going to be the ability summary. Your bait is going to be the shiny thing that catches the employer's attention. It's going to be an ability summary. And when we craft the resume, I'm going to show you how to craft a good ability summary. Okay? What happens if you have a resume, but it's too cluttered? Okay? If you have so much stuff on your resume and it's cluttered, what can you do? So the first thing you're going to do, just like you tailor your outfit to match the event you're going to, you want to tailor your resume to match the job you're applying for. So if I'm applying to be a machinist, I'm going to make my resume reflect the skills that I have that make me a good machinist. That's what I'm going to focus on. If I'm applying to be a resume writer, then I'm going to take my resume and I'm going to focus on the skills that make me a good resume writer. Because if you're applying to be a machinist, but you put your resume writer skills on there, that's not going to match up. The person running a machine shop doesn't care if you can write a resume. The person who's hiring you to be a resume writer doesn't care that you can visually inspect a gas lift mandrel. Okay, so those are different things. Does that make sense? You want to tailor that resume. Yeah, just like you have, it takes different bait to catch different kind of fish. You know, some people fly fish, some people, use worms, some people use crickets, some people use chicken livers, whatever it is. You want to change the bait to match the kind of fish you're trying to catch. Okay? You want to use the language and the keywords of the career you are targeting. Look at the job listing. The job listing is your biggest friend when you're applying for a job and you're crafting a resume to match a job description, because it's going to tell you all the skills that you need. When you look at a job description, it's going to say, we need somebody who can do this, and this. Qualifications include this, and this. So you need to look through that list and say, I have these skills, so I'm going to put these skills on this resume. Because what happens a lot of times, even before a manager gets it, it's going to get scanned by a computer. And the computer is going to determine if you don't have enough keywords that match the requirements, it may not even get kicked up to a manager. Okay? So you want to make sure that everything that you know how to do that is listed in that job description, you want to make sure that it's represented on your resume. So that means sometimes you're going to have multiple resumes, and it's okay to have multiple resumes. It's recommended to have multiple resumes to focus on the different types of jobs that you want. Okay? Your resume should be clear and concise with all of your related experience on a one-page resume. One page is the ideal. 2 pages, if you have a lot to say and you have enough relevant experience to stretch it to 2 pages, that's acceptable. But if you can fit it to 1, you're doing great. Okay. When you're talking about your job duties, when you're talking about the things that you did at your job, you don't ever want to go, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. I folded laundry, I repaired washing machines, I collected change, I provided customer service. You start saying I, and it all starts to run together. Okay, it all starts to just kind of sort of fold in on itself. And an employer their eyes could just glaze over with all the eyes that you put in your resume. Okay, you want to make your resume excited. And it's like this big comic book is comic book pow, the big word bubble, the excited. Begin each statement with action words like achieved, performed, accomplished, operated. Grab that employer's attention. And again, this is mentioned twice. Pull buzzwords from the job description to tailor your resume effectively. Okay? Buzzword is just a word that appears important, that appears often in the job description. Okay, those abilities, those qualifications, make sure that you're putting those on there because they're telling you exactly what they're looking for. That's like a fish coming along and go, I really would like it if you fed me a cricket and I'll just be right over here. And if you feed me this cricket, that would be great. And so you feed the fish the cricket, and then now the fish is in your boat. Okay. Jobs are telling you what they want you to put in your resume. You just have to read that job description. Okay. Are you ready? You want to make sure your resume is error-free and looks professional. Okay. Have somebody proofread your resume. That's somebody, if you're clever, should be me. You can email me your resume. You can email it to your career coach and they can get it to me. You can come see me when I'm in your area. Let's talk about your resume. Let's look at it. Let's work through it. Let's hammer it out. Let's make sure that you shine like $1 million. Okay? But you want to make sure that somebody else looks at it. The first time I ever had to do a resume was when I went to work at Faith House from the machine shop. My friend worked there and she said, send me your resume and I'll give it to the boss. I was like, I don't know how to do a resume. Okay, I'll do my best. And I sent it to her. And she sent it back to me. And she said, this is the worst resume I've ever seen. So I said, okay. She said, I fixed it for you. I was like, thanks a lot. So she sent me my resume back. And I was like, this actually it says the same thing I said, but better. That's where I first started learning how to do this. Have somebody else look at that resume for you. Are there any grammatical errors or formatting issues or spelling errors? Okay. Grammar, I can kind of overlook sometimes. Spelling, look, if you're not a good speller, that's okay. It's not a sign, being able to spell is not a sign of intelligence. Okay. Some people are very good at spelling. Some people are very bad at spelling. And whether you're good or bad, there's a lot of factors that have to do with it. However, when you are writing a resume and you are using a word processing program like Word, or when you're using the Louisiana Works website like I'm going to show you, whenever you spell a word wrong, you're going to get a red squiggle underneath it. If you right click on the red squiggle, it'll probably tell you the word you're trying to spell. Okay. Don't hand in a resume with spelling errors because they're so easy to fix that it looks like you don't care. Okay. If it's grammar, we're going to be doing sentence fragments, not sentences, so the grammar won't quite be as important, but spelling is huge. Okay. Does a resume present you in the best light possible? Would you hire you once you looked at this resume? Okay. Show it to professional people that you know, people that own businesses, people that run things. Hey, does this look good to you? What do you suggest? Get input on it. What not to do. Okay. Don't use the same resume for every position that you apply for. Okay. Again, vary it up, change the ability summary. It's just like changing a hat on an outfit. It's changing bait on your fishing pole. I'll show you how to do it. Don't list references. What? That's right. Don't list references. But I have to. They've always told me to put references on the back. Don't list your references. You don't even have to put references available on request. Have them available on a separate sheet of paper. Get your 3 references ready to go. 3, 4, 5 references, how many you have. There's a couple of reasons why. 1, takes up space that you don't need. Makes your resume longer. 2, if they leave those those references laying around, your references their information could go to anybody. Okay. 3, quick question. Do y'all answer phone numbers that you don't recognize on your phone?
No.
Anybody?
Yes.
No.
You
Because
do?
I be on call with my job sometimes.
Okay. All right. But if you're not on call,
Do.
yeah.
I
See, I
don't.
most people don't. Now, I'm just gonna let that. I don't know who that is. I'm gonna let it go to voicemail. If your references don't know that someone's going to be calling them, you just let it go to voicemail. May miss their chance to talk to build you up to an employer. Okay. You want to be able to tell your references, hey, so and so from this company asked me for references and I named you, and they're probably going to be calling. So if you get a number that you don't recognize, answer it, because they're probably going to be, it's probably going to be them calling to talk to you about me. It gives you more control when you don't put your references on the resume. Don't lie on your resume. Don't lie on your resume. Don't lie on your resume. 3 times. Employers are going to be able to see that you aren't telling the truth, and it can come back to haunt you. You lie about a degree, you get a job, and they find out you don't have the degree, you're going to get let go. Okay? Same thing about being incarcerated. You lie about, being incarcerated. If you lie about your job experience and they find out, you're not going to be there for very long. That defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing. Do not include personal information about yourself. You may list volunteering experience on your resume, but keep your personal life personal. And I have a sort of an addendum to that. If you have things in your personal life that you think might make you more attractive as a potential employee, go ahead and put a couple, but they need to be relevant. So, for instance, on my resume, I put that I won a Best Actor award at the National Association of Community Theaters ACT Festival, regional play festival. Why do you think I would do that? Anybody? What kind of job do I have now? What do I do a lot?
Talking in front of people.
Talking in front of people. So I said to myself, hey, people, they want me to talk in front of someone. I'm going to let them know I've been doing theater for a long time. I won an award for it. I'm not afraid to talk to people. I'm not afraid to stand in front of a group and say stuff. Um, so, and also, it maybe they're a theater person too. You know, maybe you've been playing, a musical instrument for 20 years. You put that on there. It shows your determination. It shows your ability to learn a skill, a technical skill. Don't put that, you have 3 dogs and 5 cats or whatever. Um, you know, but if it's something that you're proud of and something that, you feel like it shows who you are a little bit, it's okay. It's okay. Then you don't need multiple fonts, colors, or additives on your resume. Okay. You don't have to have canary yellow resume paper with bright pink words and boxes and et cetera, et cetera. You can have a plain looking resume. That's fine. Which is good because that's what I'm going to teach you how to make. I'm not good at the fancy stuff. I'm just a pretty simple guy. We're gonna create a simple resume, but one that's going to make you look really good. Keep it simple, keep it plain, keep it readable. You don't want it to hurt their eyes. Here's one more thing that I need to add to this PowerPoint. You don't need an objective on your resume. Has anyone ever seen an objective on a resume? Does anybody have an objective on their resume?
No, I don't.
Do you know what is an objective on a resume?
I don't even know. That's what I
Don't know? That's all right. That's okay. You may have seen them before. If you've ever looked at like sample resumes or things like that, an objective may say something like, let's see if I can pull one out off the top of my head here. Seasoned veteran of the retail industry, seeking an immediate position in a high level retail environment where years of relevant skills will contribute greatly to the success of a team while also providing opportunities for advancement or something like that. All that I just said, that was about $100 worth of words. All that said was, I would like a job. No matter what you put in your objective, it all comes back to, I would like a job. Employers know you'd like a job because you're applying for a job. So you do not need an objective. Okay. That's a question on the quiz, by the way. You don't need an objective. It just kind of clutters up your resume, and it's just an old school way of doing things. They used to teach them. They used to teach that. But it's not, if anybody teaches that anymore, it's not necessary. Okay. It's not necessary to put an objective. It just takes up space. Okay. So you're like, well, all right, Casey. Well, so let's see in action. Let's see what you can do creating a resume. So get rid of this PowerPoint and get rid of that and pull up this. And it looks like this over here. All right. And so while we were on lunch, I created a fake person. So let me sign in under her HiRE account. I'm not a robot. Okay. So whenever you log into your Louisiana Works account, this is the screen that you're going to see. Okay. So something similar to this. So what you're going to want to do is you want to come over here to this menu area. And they call this the hamburger menu, all right, because it looks kind of like a hamburger. So you want to click on the hamburger menu over here. And the person I've created today is Destiny Esprit. Destiny is 22 years old, and she has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and she wants to go to work for the FBI. That sounds like somebody we may know. All right. I will say, Shantage, I kind of did use you as an example just because I've never made a. Oh, is she here? Shantasia's gone. Okay, well, that's kind of I used her as kind of a template a little bit for the kind of work that she wanted to do. So we're going to create a resume for Miss Destiny to see if maybe we can't get her hired in the FBI. So when you click on the hamburger menu, you're going to see different things here, and you're going to come down to Resume Builder. All right, and that's going to take you to this page. So from this page, you want to go down and you want to click the plus sign here. We're going to create new resume. So we're going to do that, and that's going to take you over here. Now, this is the first place where people tend to mess up when they're creating resumes, and that is titling their resume. A lot of times you're going to see eager worker ready to begin immediately, or hardworking employee ready for long-term, whatever. Okay, that's not what you're going to do here. Okay, what you're going to do here is you're going to title this resume the type of work that you're looking for, or the type of work that your resume is focusing on, the skills that your resume is focusing on. Okay, so we're going to say, we're going to say law enforcement. Okay, so that's what she's going to focus on. Okay, and then if you're going to do this all in one day, you can write at this section, allow employers to view my resume online. Or if you think it's going to take you a couple of days, you can put hide my resume from employers. Okay, where we will probably end up doing this all in one day, so we're going to allow employers to view it. Now, there's two different things you can do here. You can build your resume from scratch, or you can upload an existing resume. We're building one from scratch today. And what we're building is called a comprehensive resume. A comprehensive resume, it focuses on your job history and your skills. There's functional resume. There are functional resumes. Functional resumes basically focus just on your skills. But with comprehensive, we get both in there. All right. So now we're going to go to save. So do you want to save your resume nationwide? Absolutely. So now we're going to go to save. So whenever you go to create your resume, this is what you're going to see. Okay. So our first item of business is to get our categories, our sections in order, and figure out what we want on our resume and what we don't want on our resume. So we're going to come over here and see this. This is a system template. HiRE just said, hey, we're going to have this as a chronological resume template, and if you want to change it, well, you go ahead, which that's what we're going to do. So we're going to come over here. We're going to hit this gear button, okay? And it's going to say, hey, this is a system template. If you want to fix this, or if you want to do your own thing, you're going to have to save it as a custom template. So we're going to say, okay. And we'll just, it literally doesn't matter what you call this, but I always just call it Destiny 1 or whatever the person's name is and the one after. So we're going to go to save. All right. So now we're in here and we can edit what's going to be on our resume. All right. So we did say contact information is the top. Okay. That's the most important. I guess it kind of is the most important, because if this is wrong, it doesn't matter how good your resume is, because they're never going to call you. They're never going to be able to email you if your phone number and your email are not on the resume. You don't technically have to put your address on there if you don't want to, because they're probably not going to come to your house, and they're probably not going to send you postal mail. I'm just a little old school, so I put it on there, but it's not even really necessary. So you can do that if you want. If not, that's fine too. But definitely your phone number, definitely your email. Look, folks, I know sometimes we get new phones, and I know sometimes our phones break or our phones go missing or our phones, we need new SIM cards or we need new. Look, you've got to make sure on your resume that your phone number stays updated. Okay? If you forget your email password and you can't recover it, you need to make sure that your email get a new email address. Get that updated. Okay? Keep that updated. I've seen so many people over my time doing this where their stuff doesn't stay updated. And what's the point, right? If you don't have good contact info. So save that. We want that at the top of the resume. I mean, if you wanted, you could, move it. I mean, it's, you can move it up and down if you want, but there's no reason to have it anywhere else but at the top. Okay. So see, even HiRE right now, HiRE's like, hey, you need an objective. You need an objective on this resume. And I say to you, HiRE, no, I do not. So I'm going to click that checkbox right there. I'm going to uncheck it, and the objective goes away. We're going to start with an ability summary. We're going to definitely have that. Employment history, we're definitely going to have that. Education history, absolutely. Occupational licenses, certificates, and training. Do you have any of those things? Are you CPR certified? Are you SaveServe certified? Do you have a TWIC card? Do you have any certifications for your CDL license, any endorsements or anything like that? You can sort of put those there if you have any. We're going to make some up for Destiny. I'm not sure what yet, but we're gonna. Honors and activities. This is your volunteer work. This is your community service work. This is, things that are going to make you more employable. Okay. We're gonna come up with something for her yet. I'm not sure what, but we're gonna put on there. Additional information you don't really need. Okay. Additional information, unless you can think of anything absolutely relevant that's not covered by any of this other stuff, you don't really need additional information. So we're going to come down here. We're going to uncheck it. Okay. And then detailed references. Remember, we don't need detailed references on our resume because we're going to create a separate page for them. So we're going to uncheck that. So right now, this is what our resume is going to contain. This is who I am. This is what I can do. This is what I have done. This is the education that allows me to do the things that I've done. Here's a little bit more about me. This resume is going to tell a story. From top to bottom, it's going to tell a story. It may not, the employer may not get it and go, hey, this tells a story. But it makes sense. It makes sense in their mind when they read it. It's going to flow and it's going to look really nice. Okay. There's only one other thing to fix. We can either fix it before we start or after we finish. I go down here to section specific format and employment dates align. I'm going to align them to the right because if you have it aligned to the left, it throws off the kind of the look of the resume, at least the way that I want it. So this is what we got. So now we have established this, and we're going to go to save. Now, once we go to save, we can click the template options button, and we're back here in the middle. So let's dig into how to do this. So the first thing we're going to look at is the ability summary. Remember, this is the bait. This is going to drag that employer in and make them want to keep reading. So we're going to click on ability summary. And then basically you get what this is. If you're familiar with Microsoft Word, it's basically like a condensed down version of Microsoft Word. And we're going to use my favorite button ever. And that's this one. So we're going to create a bulleted list. Our whole resume is going to be a bulleted list, basically, from our abilities to our job duties to all of that. Okay. So what do we put here? Do you think I should include hard worker in my ability summary? What do you think?
No,
Why not?
I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think
Who's that?
that's Naomi.
Naomi? Okay. You're right. We're not going to put that on our ability summary. Somebody tell me why. What do you think?
Broad topic. It's not very specific.
Exactly. It's broad. It's anybody can write that. Anybody can put that on their resume. It doesn't set you apart. It doesn't make you stand out. Other things we're not going to put on there. Punctual. That's just expected. I expect you to be on time. Okay? You're telling me stuff I already expect. Team player. What does that even mean? These are things anybody can put on there. What I'm looking for, we're going to get all this. What I'm looking for are things that are going to make an employer want to hire you. So what did I do? So while y'all were on lunch and I created and I decided that this was the way we were going to take this resume, I looked up like a job description for somebody who wants to be a federal agent. So in those job descriptions, it actually lists, let me pull this over here so y'all can see it. So it's actually going to list core skills and competencies and things that an FBI agent needs to know how to do. Just like I said, whenever you look in a job history or a job listing, it's going to tell you these things. So what I'm going to do, basically, I'm going to say this is the job listing, and I'm going to take my cues from this. So I'm going to move this back over here so I can get back to the resume. So the first core skill and competency was collaboration. So I'm going to say able to I'm going to say excellent networking skills. Let's see, able to communicate well across departments and willing to reach out to sometimes it takes me a minute to other communicate well across departments and willing to reach out to other organizations for assistance. So then down here, you may see a little something. So also, this is a great thing too. I forgot to tell you all about. There's a Chrome extension that you can download called Grammarly, and Grammarly will actually let you know when your grammar is kind of out of whack. So you can click on it, and it'll tell you, oh, I should have a comma in front of that and. So you can just go here and click on it, and now there's no issues. Okay, and you can just close that out. So the second core competency was communication. So we're going to say, we don't want to keep using the same word over and over again. We're going to say, skilled in the areas of communication and negotiation, able to communicate well, both verbally and via verbally and written. Able to communicate well in using both verbal and written skills, verbal and written abilities. Okay. Third one, flexibility and adaptability. So we'll say flexible. Flexible, willing and able to say open to adapting. Open to adapting plans to fit as needed. Again, you can highlight this because Grammarly's like, hey, what's going on? You have a thing. Let's put a comma there. Okay. Next thing was initiative. So we can say self-motivated. Self-motivated, responsible. Willing to take charge of situations if needed. Okay. Interpersonal ability. So interpersonal ability sort of goes together with that first one. It's about networking skills. You know, you can kind of talk to, let's see, you say good communicator. Able to reach. See, that's more networking stuff. So we don't necessarily, we can kind of combine those two at the top. So leadership, okay, leads by example, follows a strict set of moral guidelines, unafraid to make decisions and willing to accept consequences necessary, something like that. And see Grammarly is like, okay, well, we don't need a comma after example. You can click on that. Need a comma after and, accept the consequences if necessary. And we're going to take that period off. Okay. So the next one is organizing and planning. We'll say organized and creative problem solver. Able to think outside the box and offer input into solving into solutions, something like that. And then problem solving and judgment, excellent judgment, and say excellent judgment and reasoning skills. Let's see. We'll say excellent judgment and analytical skills, able to use all tools at disposal to solve complex issues. Okay, so I misspelled judgment, so we're gonna fix that. See, we'll go ahead and, okay, Grammarly says we need a period, so we're going to put that. So again, if you see how effective this is to stopping spelling errors and grammatical errors, okay? Download Grammarly. You can put it on your phone. You can put it on your computer. It's a really good program, okay? So now, if you look at this, if I'm someone that's trying to hire somebody for this job, what do you think? Does this make me want to keep reading? Does it make you want to keep reading? Are you interested in this person? Anybody? Are y'all still with me? Hello?
Sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure y'all can still hear me, okay? Um, and look, being able to word stuff like this, it's just takes a little while. That's why I always tell people to send me your resumes so that I can help you with, like, if you give me the basic idea of what you're trying to say, but you're having trouble sort of making it sound resume-ish, I can offer suggestions, okay? So basically what we just did is we looked at the job listing for an FBI agent, and they're saying, hey, we need all this stuff. And so I said, okay, well, we've got this stuff. And so I basically used the job listing as a crib sheet to say, okay, now if there were any other things that Destiny had focused on while she's in school, while she was in, an academy. Maybe she's forensics expert, or maybe she's, different things like that. We could say like, you know, up to date on the most recent developments in DNA matching, something like that. You can think of many different things that are going to make you stand out. Okay, you generally want 6 to 8 to kind of lead things off. Okay, so we're going to save that, and now, boom, right here. Here it is. Just dropped right in. Okay, so now let's go to employment history. Okay. And I said Destiny's 22. We're actually going to make her a little bit older, because I want to be able to kind of play with her job history a little bit, and just like her degree and stuff like that. So, but you're going to click on employment history, and we're going to add employment history. Okay. And so right now we're going to say she works for, we're going to say she's Louisiana State Police. Okay. And we'll say she's based out of Louisiana. Okay. And we'll say she is we'll say she's a state trooper. Okay. Go in here. We'll say, you don't necessarily, you can actually be a state trooper and work in, you're not out on the road. You're actually in the office. So we're going to say that because that's kind of what she wants to focus on. So we're going to say it's a regular. We're going to say it's full time. Okay. Oh, also, I want to make sure. So whenever you type something in here, let it auto-populate. Okay. Auto-populate means let this pop up. Okay. Because once you let this pop up, you can click on it, and then it's going to give you options down here to select. If you don't have any options down here to select, you're going to have to search for the occupation. And sometimes that gets a little wonky. Like it's the occupations you're thinking of don't always maybe show up, and you've got to go what's closest. So pick whatever's closest from this menu. So we're going to say state trooper. Okay. And then we let that auto-populate, and we're going to come down here, criminal investigator and special agent. Okay. We'll say regulars, full-time. You don't have to put your salary. Okay. When you're entering in your job history, you don't have to put what salary you had. You don't have to put, it was per hour or anything like that, but we do need to put the date you began work. So when you go to start creating your resume, what I suggest is before you even do all of this, what I would like for you to do, and it's going to make your life a lot easier, uh, get your job history ready. Start at the most recent job and work your way backwards, and start with you need the month and year you started as best you can, and the month and year the job ended as best you can. Okay, get it as close as possible. Once you do this once, if you keep up with your resume, you never have to do it again. Okay, but it's going to help you kind of go through this a lot faster than having to stop and then research and then having to go back and fix and then going back to fix again and then, oh wait, I need to move this job. Like if you get it all worked out ahead of time, you can basically just copy it over. Okay. So we're going to say she has been a state trooper for 3 years. So we're going to say 10/29, 2018. Okay. And we're going to put currently employed. Okay. But if you weren't currently employed, you would put why you're no longer there. You can put a little more information about why you're there. Keep it drama free. Keep it simple. Then you put the last day that you worked. Okay. But because she's there right now, we're going to put currently employed. So now we get down to the next part of the sort of fleshing this out. And that is talking about our job duties. We can get so used to our job that we sort of see it in very simple terms. So when I worked at the machine shop, if you had asked me, Casey, what are your job duties? And I say, I visually inspect gas lift mandrels. Do any of y'all know what that means? Anybody here familiar with visually inspecting gas lift mandrels?
No, I don't know.
No, most people don't. Okay, most people don't because it's not something that a lot of people do. So if I'm trying to get a job and I'm trying to explain to an employer what I do, if I say visually inspect gas lift mandrels and then just move on, that doesn't help them. That doesn't help me at all because they can't picture me doing that. Okay, your potential employer needs to be able to picture you doing the job. Okay, so hold on one second. Um, I forgot to pull up the state trooper job duties. Um, so let's kind of let's look at that. Let's break it down. And what I tell people is from the time that you clocked in until the time that you clocked out, what were you responsible for? Show me what people trusted you to do. Okay? And tell me how you did it. So because I'm not familiar with the criminal investigator side of things, like I just put her back as a police patrol officer, by the way, because this will help me just demonstrate this point better. So we can say things like respond to, clean up after traffic accidents. We can say educate the public on laws and safety concerns. We can say prepare court reports. Can testify in court. Can say safety. We can say conduct investigations of accidents. Okay, accident. Okay, let's see. I'm checking over here to see kind of what, say, okay. So, and again, this is just taken from a job description of what a state trooper might do. Okay. But now, as someone who's, trying to get hired, I've shown an employer that I can do all of this different things. I'm an upstanding person. I'll go in court. I'll testify in court. I'll prepare reports, so I can do paperwork as well. I'm, responding and helping clean up, traffic accidents. I'm conducting investigations. So all of these things, if I'm trying to get on with the FBI, these are all sort of relevant things, right? So, whatever else you might try to do, whatever other job duties you think you might have, you can put those on there. Okay. But really just sort of break it down step by step. What do you do every day to make yourself, to show what your job duties are? And here's the thing, folks. When you do this, when you break this down step by step, you are showing an employer that you're a hard worker. When you say, look, this is everything that I know how to do, this is everything that I'm responsible for, that shows them that you're a hard worker. And you never once have to put hard worker on your resume. This is showing, not telling. Okay? And if you look, everything here is in present tense. Okay? Respond, educate, prepare, testify, serve, enforce, conduct, issue, enforce. If this is a job that you didn't have anymore, this would need to be in past tense. So it would be responded, educated, prepared, testified. Okay, it would something that you don't do anymore. Okay, that's just resume grammar, and that's just how it has to work. Okay, so make sure that if it's a job you currently have, it's in present tense. And if it's a job you don't have anymore, it's in past tense. Okay. If you're not sure what that is, I'm going to give you my email address. You can shoot me your email. I'll look at your resume. I will help you make it great. Okay. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to save this job. And it's asking if I want to add skills associated with an employment. Yes. It's basically assigning skills to my profile that I can then use later. Okay. Now, if you want to add another employment history, you just click on it and do the same thing over again with your next most recent job. Okay. We've done it once to just kind of show you how to do it. But this is how you make your resume. You just keep adding your employment histories. You want to go back about 10 years if you can. As long as it's sort of relevant work. Okay. We're going to save that. Okay. So now we're going to go to education history. If you have a college degree or if you have a vocational school certificate, if you have anything higher than a high school diploma, you don't need to put your high school diploma. Okay. So we're going to add new education history. So we're going to say she got a bachelor's degree, which is a 4-year degree in criminal justice. Okay. The issuing institution would be wherever she got it. Say she's LSU alum, and you really don't need to put city, state, country. You really don't need to put all that. Okay, she's not attending that school. You don't need to put semester clock hours. You can put just the month and the, so you can do just the year. You can do the 2-digit month and the 4-digit year, or the 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 2-digit year. We're going to put just the year. So we're going to start. So it's 2021. She's been so we say she started as a state trooper in 2018. So we'll say she started school in 2013 and she ended in 2017. Okay? So that's her 4 years. Now, we can put things here if we need to. Okay? So one of the things that I looked up that I noticed was that in order to be an FBI agent, you have to have had at least a 3.0 grade point average in college. So that's important. You can list your grade point average down here as long as it's at least a 3.0. Other than that, you probably don't want to list it, but if that's important to this job, so we're going to say we'll say maintained let's see, maintained. See, school tenure. You can say so remember the fighting band from Tigerland. Say she played the trumpet, whatever that might be. Just some things that might, be relevant to the schoolwork. For 4 years. Things like that. So if it's relevant in your schooling, you can put that on there. Okay. And if it's you think it's relevant to the job, right? The reason why I put the band there, it shows, hey, she's not only where she was not only was she an excellent student, but she was also playing in the band. She maintained Dean's List honors, president of the Criminal Justice Society. So she had other things going on besides her schoolwork. Okay. So we're going to save that. So there she is, her bachelor's degree in criminal justice from 2017. So we're going to save that. Okay. Then you could also add you could add another one. You could maybe add the police, state police academy, something like that. She could add, whatever her police academy training was. But you see how it works. You can just add that new, just like you could with your your employment history. You can do the same thing with your education history. Okay. So we won't add anything right there right now. Occupational licenses, certificates, and training. We can say something. So again, we'll add new occupational license. We could say CPR, certified, Red Cross. You don't need a certificate number. If it has a red dot by it, a red asterisk by it, you need it. So completion date, we'll say May of 2020, and we will say it won't expire. Don't need a city. We say the state, Louisiana. Okay. And any kind of other certifications. Maybe you have to have different, certifications to move up in your career. Maybe you need a TWIC card, or maybe you need, different certifications. Whatever you get, you would list them right there. Okay. And then honors and activities, we could say things like volunteer at say volunteer at St. Joseph Diner for the Homeless twice a month. Um, local organizer local Toys for Tots drive, something like that. Okay. So again, whatever those things that might make you look, that might show that you're responsible, that show that you're someone who can be trusted, that shows that you're someone who cares about your community. Okay. So when you get down to it, folks, and we look at it, this is the resume. This is it. This is a resume that could get her noticed. This is a resume that could get her in the door. And once she's in the door, it's her job to get the job. Okay. Does this make sense to everybody?
Yes, sir.
You want to show you've never met this person, because this is a person that I created at lunchtime. Okay. But looking at this, do you think you know this person? Do you think you have a good idea of who she is? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what your resume needs to be. Your resume needs to give me an idea, or an employer an idea of who you are. It needs to show your character. It needs to show what you've done. Okay. And yours is not, this is a little bit of a fancier resume. This is someone who's had more education and things like that. I just kind of wanted to show you how you can build this out. Okay. Yours may be shorter than this. Yours may not have as much stuff. That's okay. Most of y'all are just starting out. So this is a situation where, your career coach can help you. I can help you get this done to where it will kind of get it in shape. Okay. And one more thing, when you're building a resume, you have to come down here before you're finished. Desired salary, keep it at any. Sometimes employers don't list a salary in their job duty and their job listing. And if you put a specific salary that you're looking for, you won't show up in their job searches when they're looking for candidates. So always keep this at any. Okay. Desired job location. So you'd come over here to add a location, and you can do it anywhere in the state. You can do it by zip code, or you can do it by specific county. County, parish, same thing. This website was made by people not from Louisiana. So I like to do it by parish, and you can select multiple areas. And say Acadia, Lafayette, St. Landry, Evangeline, wherever you're willing to drive to go to work. And you can put that there, and you go to continue. Okay. Then, go to save. Then we're going to come down here, driver's license. Okay. This is letting an employer know that you have that you have a driver's license as soon as it'll pop up. Okay. Let's try security clearance. Well, it's not working. Let's come up here and save it. Okay. And let's click this. We're going to click not online, and we're going to click it to make it go online. So the HiRE website, or the internet, seems to be kind of running slowly. So let me just, for the sake of the recording, let me go in and just explain what to do from here. Driver's license, you could click on that. It'll ask you to say what kind of license you have, any endorsements. CDL, folks, this is important for y'all. You can put all your different endorsements on it. Security clearance, if you're in the military, you're going to have, or if you were in the military, you might have security clearance. You might not. You can put that in there. Desired job type, you get to select, go and put what days you're willing to work, what shifts you're willing to work. If you're looking for regular or full-time contract work, are you willing to travel? Are you willing to relocate? Are you willing to telecommute? Telecommute means work from home. You would go in and answer all these questions. You can actually go in and see what skills is assigned to you, and you can go in and either check them or uncheck them off a list to, check them off if leave them checked if if there's a skill you have, uncheck them if you don't. It'll ask you for your typing speed. If you're not sure, you can look up a free typing test online, and if you speak any extra languages, okay. So you would fill the rest of that out, and when you fill the rest of that out, your resume is done. You're gonna go back to resume list, and now you'll see it. Okay. If you want to do something different with your resume, you can actually go and create a new one. And all you have to do, you can actually import. It'll ask you to import your resume that you previously did. Then all you need to do is go in and change the ability summary, and you could make this resume completely different. You can gear it towards some other kind of job. Okay. But that is sort of the nuts and bolts of creating a resume that can get you hired, or that can get your foot in the door. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the resume process? And please, I know we're just about we're a little bit overdue as far as time goes, but this is important. If you have any questions about the resume or anything that I can do to kind of clarify any of the work that we just did? No. All right. Hold on. Let me 1 second.